We've wanted GM Connected back for essentially a decade now. Well, me and my community, we figured out how to do it, sort of. This is the first video that will be covering the Sleeveless Gaming Connected Sim League. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your own GM Connected Sim League, as well as breaking down everything that happened in our draft and how this league came to be. If you enjoyed this video and you want to follow along with our league over the next 2 months, be sure to check out the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/nosleeves12. Link is down below. We'll be simming through this league with user transaction, user lineups, massive rivalries, free agency, and more. You can follow along as we sim it through the entire summer. Let's get into it. So here is how we made a 32-team sim league with full custom rosters, a fantasy draft, and making it all work inside of NHL 23. Now, unfortunately, franchise mode does not have this ability. There is really no way for you to do this inside franchise mode, which obviously is the biggest problem when it comes to franchise mode in the series. So here is what we did. I'm going to show you how we set up the league, and then I'm going to break down exactly what happened when it came to our draft. If you go to season mode, you click on new, a mode that is long been forgotten. Here is how you make your own custom sim league. Obviously, the league type is NHL, but you can actually do it with any other mode that you want. So my European viewers, you can go ahead and do this with your own league back home. You go to roster control, full control, fantasy draft you want to have on, CPU trades you want to turn to off, and then trade difficulty, switch that to easy. Click continue. Now this is where it'll all make sense. In this screen, in season mode, you can go ahead and select every single team as a user controlled team. So by doing this, it will allow you to edit lines, make transactions, sign free agents, all of that. Now, obviously, it is only one season, so it will require you, if you wanted to go multiple years, some outside of the game help. But for this series alone, I wanted to do it a little bit as a test so that in NHL 24, we can iron out anything that comes up along the way. Now, my community, they kind of blew up about this idea. I had a 32-man raffle in my stream starting on Monday, and we found our 32 managers, and more on that in just a little bit. Once you've selected all of the teams to be a user-controlled team, obviously, if you don't have 32 people in your community or group of friends, I mean, honestly, who does? You can remove the amount of teams and, again, just have control over the set few that you want to have control over. Click on continue. For our sim league, I'll go over the settings that we are using. There are a lot of great sliders and gameplay settings that a lot of franchise hardcore players use, but for this one, I kept it pretty simple. Again, this is a test. I wanted to put it on full sim. Period length, I went to 4 minutes. Difficulty, I went to pro. Again, it is going to be CPU versus CPU. We are going to be watching a lot of these games. Roster control is full. CPU trades are off. Fantasy draft is on, and autosave is on. In the advanced setting, everything is pretty standard, except for head coach editing lines. That's going to be all done via Discord and my chat, where my managers can go ahead and make lineup changes if they wish to. Auto-rotate goalies will be on, and then I turned off trade notifications and blockbuster trades because whatever, retired jerseys do stay on. In terms of rules, there's no injuries. Turned those off because it added way too much randomness, and I wanted the managers to have as much control as possible. I think if this is a big success, I might do a season where injuries are on. Penalties, I put it at 2 out of 4. And then the time scaling, just for when we sim games and watch it, I put it at half out of 6 because if you go any higher, they just take a full 2 minutes and it's brutal. And then gameplay sliders, we essentially left this everything what was default. Again, I think that there are a lot of great slider leagues that have a ton of great settings to it. Again, this is just testing this year to see if I can actually get this league to work and how effective it is. So we are going to leave this pretty much the same. Now that you've got all your rules set, you can go to start season. Now, for this fantasy draft portion, you can go ahead and choose whichever manager or team you want to give the first overall pick to and so forth. In my league personally, after we found our 32 managers, we did a random wheel spin that gave us our entire draft. Now, again, I wanted to keep this league as simple as possible, and the best way that I thought to do that was to do 23 rounds and cap the draft at that so that everyone had a full roster and then 3 scratches. They can make 2-for-1 trades, but they can never go below 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, and 2 goaltenders. This allowed some lineup flexibility and some roster moves, and there were already a ton of trades, including some blockbusters between the 32 managers. So let's recap how the early parts of the draft went. And I want to warn you guys, with 32 user managers, I did this on stream, and it took about an hour a round. I want to thank personally all of my managers, because while I sat here for essentially 24 hours in about 7-hour blocks, throughout the week, I had 32 of my managers sit there and make the picks as quick as possible throughout this. It is a huge undertaking, but it made the league so good. So let's go over again how the first round started. Connor McDavid goes to the Seattle Kraken. Nathan MacKinnon goes number 2 to the Anaheim Ducks. Pretty chalk here through the first 10 picks in my opinion. Austin Matthews goes to Duncan Deli and the New Jersey Devils. Nippin' Biscuits selects Cale Makar with the 4th overall pick. Jumbo Joe Thornton goes 5th overall to the Wild. And Leon Draisaitl falls to the Carolina Hurricanes at 6. Yeah, I just kind of glossed over that. My man made a troll pick at number 5, but you are going to see one of the key features of this league where I allowed every manager to make upgrades to their team. And Joe Thornton is going to be a fan favorite to watch this year, I promise that. Pasternak goes to the Avalanche, Kucherov to the Penguins, Panarin to the Blues, and Mikko Rantanen to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, the rest of the first round was, again, pretty chalk. If you want to see how the rest of the entire draft went, you can take a look at the doc down below in the comments section where all of the league's information is there, including depth charts, transactions, as well as the entire 23-round draft. And with the 736th pick of the SGGM Connected League, the Chicago Blackhawks are proud to select 70 overall rated Oscar Klefbom. You are Mr. Irrelevant, and that concludes the draft. Now, the draft was only half the battle. Again, it probably took about 26 hours in total. But once that was finished, I had to make the custom roster, moving all 736 players to the appropriate team. On top of that, I allowed each of my managers to make upgrades to their team, and here is how it worked. I wanted to incorporate as much of my community as I possibly could, so I allowed managers and viewers to sponsor teams of their choice with either channel points or bits to upgrade their teams. The upgrades were capped, and it worked like this. You could upgrade 10 overall points to anyone on your team, meaning that you could make 10 players on your squad plus 1 overall higher, or you could make one single player 10 overall higher. And we saw a bit of both from the roster upgrade section of the league. On top of that, I allowed managers to add 2 gold X Factors and 4 total superstar abilities. Every manager in the league did have the maximum amount of boost, and while this did take about another 25 hours, I didn't mark down all of the attribute boosts. I did that live on stream, so I do apologize. But if you follow along during the season, you will see the upgrade. Now, because in season mode, you are not able to make attribute changes, it had to be done before the season started. However, X Factors, you can make those adjustments in season, and that's going to play a role in my league. Let's go through the upgrades to the Minnesota Wild. Starting off, your captain, who will not be able to be moved. He is going to get the C, which comes with a +2 overall attribute boost. He will also be getting the full +10 from his 10 overall attributes that can be added for a total of a +12. He will also be wearing number 69. Excellent. So let's go ahead and upgrade Joe Thornton as he is going to be the centerpiece. 5th overall in the first league of the SG Connected Sim League. Here we go. He's got a 99 shot. What did we do? 99 shot power on the wrist shot, 92 accuracy, agility, 92. Strength goes up to a 93. Balance goes to 100. Durability. Good thing injuries are off. Dude, he is a weapon. He is a weapon. Oh, 91 overall, Jumbo Joe Thornton, 43 years of age. Unbelievable. Now, another wrinkle I added to the league is that you could add a captain, which would get you 2 overall attribute boosts to that player, and then 2 assistant captains, which would get a +1 overall boost to each of those players. These cannot be moved in season. So because they got the attribute boost, I didn't want them to be able to be moved. I wanted them to stick with them the whole year. And there were some interesting captain choices, but Joe Thornton is easily the best one. Now, here is what your league will look like once you've loaded into season mode and done your fantasy draft, or did what I did and completed an offline roster, which I found to be a bit faster than going through the draft. And plus, the fantasy draft will make you go the full 30 rounds. Because I only wanted to do 23, I had to do a custom roster, which is exactly why. And again, you can go through and change any single team that you are going to be following. Now, my sim league is going to work a little bit like this. Every Monday, we are going to start a sim for that month with the goal of getting to the final end of that month by about Wednesday. every single day on stream. Again, link is down below. We are going to watch some key matchups throughout that month with managers that are going on in my chat. At the end of that month, I'm going to allow for line changes for every single one of my managers. And again, you can see that if you select whatever team that you want to control, you can go to all of the movements that you need to make. So edit lines, for example, you can go ahead and edit your lines, and this is what I will be doing as commissioner and the one running the league pretty much the whole month. And to start my season off, we are going to be watching the CPU matchup between the Sharks and Nashville to kick the year off. Again, I might be a little biased. It is my Sharks. However, NTQ is the manager, and I figured why not watch the very first game of the year, and that will be live on Twitch. I will not have any control. We'll watch the game. We'll have some laughs, and there will be some other big matchups throughout the month of October. Now, there will also be free agency. All of my managers will have $100 of fake money, and they can nominate a player for free agency. That player will go up as a free agent, and then all of the managers that want to bid on that player, they will go ahead and message me privately whatever their actual bid is. Again, it will be a blind auction, and then the next day, whoever has the highest bid will get that player at the start of the next month. This is by far the most fun I have had with this game. It took a lot of time, and again, I want to thank the managers for taking so much time out of their week to help get this all set up. I'm going to be posting regular updates of the league. And again, if you want to watch it live, twitch.tv/nosleeves12. In the next video, I will go over some of the massive transactions that happened before the league even started, including a trade of the 4th overall pick, Cale Makar. So let me know what you think in the comments section down below. I hope you guys follow along for the rest of the summer. I didn't even mention what the winner is going to get. The winner of my first league will get a free copy of NHL 24, and all 16 players that make the playoffs, they will get an automatic bid into the second season of the league. The bottom 5 players, to ensure there's no tanking or people just give up, they'll be banned from the next season of the SG Sim League. Thank you guys for watching. I can't wait to see how this plays out. I'll see you next time.